Hey everybody, tonight we are going to do a simple before and after video. I'm going to do a water change here on my 20-gallon open topped office tank. I'm going to do a really big water change because I think my German blue ram in this tank might be suffering from hole in the head disease. I've shot some video talking about this already. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail about it tonight. But you can see there's some sort of spots and specks on the fish's head. Those little sort of light areas around its eyes and forehead. Not really sure what's going on with that, but I think it might be the early signs of hole in the head disease. And so what we're going to do is just try to keep the tank a little more well maintained. I've sort of been deliberately letting the nitrate get up there and letting the organics get up there a little bit because I want to see what effect that pothos plant has on the organics in the tank. But I don't want to do that at the cost of having one of my fish suffer. So not really sure what causes hole in the head disease. I'm honestly not really even sure that is hole in the head disease. But just to be safe, we're going to do a big old water change and we're going to get that tank nice and cleaned up. So I'll check the nitrate before. Actually, we can do that right now. I got a little dip strip right here. We will see what that's looking like. I'm guessing it's going to turn fairly red. Now, I know you don't have anything to compare this to, and it takes a few moments for it to really develop. But I can tell you, if it's already that pink right now, this quickly, over the next 30 seconds or 45 seconds or so, that's going to develop into a nice dark shade of pink. And that is going to indicate that we are probably up closer to that end of the spectrum. So between 80 and, what is that, 200? I can't really see whether that's 80 and 160. So we're probably somewhere in that range with that kind of pink. I'm going to say we're probably at least at 80 parts per million. So let's do a great big water change and see if we can't get that down to somewhere a little more reasonable, even though I don't believe the nitrate itself has anything to do with the fish's condition. You can tell it's sort of a lived-in tank at this point, and just doing a nice big freshen up's not going to hurt anything. So there's your before. And there's your after. So the tank's a lot more bright and open, but it now looks devoid of fish. And this tank always looks like this after a water change. I've been standing here for quite a while waiting for the ram to come out into the light so we could see some of its beautiful colors right now, but it just won't do it. It's laying back, hiding in the shadows. And it had been doing that before. I was originally going to do the after just a few minutes ago, and I realized that this pothos plant had so many leaves out over the water that it was really casting a lot of shadows over the tank, and it had the fish out swimming around more, but it also had the tank a lot darker. So I removed those, and now we're not really seeing much in the way of this ram anymore. You can see it's still hanging out, but it's just staying up in the shadows. It's not really coming out into the open anymore. The platies in this tank always go into some sort of weird hiding condition after a water change. If you look up on the top edge, you can see a lot of the fish up in the edges. And they will get down in the bottom. They'll hide underneath the things. It's weird. So I did the big water change. In fact, I did a really big water change. I'll show you exactly how big of a water change I did. I drained most of the water out of the tank. I just kept enough in there to make sure that the fish were able to stay upright and swimming around without dragging their fins on the bottom or anything. But I took it down to that level, and then I filled it back up. I wiped the glass down, and I changed the filter pad. I just did some filter maintenance not too long ago, so I really didn't even need to change the filter pad, but how hard is it to do that? So I went ahead and did it anyway. So we've got a new filter pad. We've got new or freshly wiped down glass. I vacked out all of the sort of loose fish poop and detritus that was on the surface. I don't really do any deep gravel vacuuming in this tank. And that's about it. I will show you the nitrate test here in just a moment, but first you can see my clown pleco is still alive and well, hiding underneath of there. We don't get to see that one very often. Sometimes late at night, if I'm still in the office and the fish tank light is out, that clown pleco will come out and hang on the glass. Now, I've already done this where I was able to hold it up and see it more clearly and compare it to the test on the bottle. And what I found was that light pink coloration is coming out somewhere between 10 and 20. It's definitely a darker shade than the 10, but it doesn't quite look like the 20 either. So that's fine with me. Anything down there is a good indicator that we did exactly what I wanted to do. I removed a bunch of organics and dissolved solids and everything else out of the tank. And so now I'm just going to make sure I do fairly frequent water changes on this tank over the next week or two, and we're going to keep an eye on that ram and see if those spots don't go away. So make sure you're subscribed. You won't miss that or anything else. Thanks for watching that. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you real soon in the next one.